This is Lorefield.
And Sidekick. Say less. We already said too much.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Lorefield and Sidekick Say Less, because we already said too much. I'm Lorefield, and I'm glad you're here. Tonight, we're diving into a topic that affects every single person on Earth, human population. It's something we don't often stop and think about, but it influences nearly every part of our daily lives. From the food we eat, and the homes we live in, and the technology we use, and the wildlife we share this planet with, population plays a major role. The world's population has now grown to more than 8 billion people. That's an incredible achievement in many ways. It means longer life expectancies, amazing medical breakthroughs, and more minds working together to solve some of humanity's biggest challenges. But with that growth also comes some difficult questions. Can our planet keep up? How do we balance progress with protecting nature? Are we using Earth's resources wisely, or are we pushing them to their limits? Tonight, we're going to explore both sides of the story. We'll talk about the incredible things humanity has accomplished because of our growing population, but we'll also take an honest look at the challenges, from population and habitat loss to overcrowding, resource use, and the future of our planet. As always, this isn't about telling you what to believe. It's about looking at the facts, asking important questions, and having an open conversation. I want to hear your thoughts throughout the episode, so don't be afraid to join the discussion in the comments or in the chat. And don't forget to subscribe. So grab a drink, get comfortable, and let's take a closer look at one of the biggest topics facing our world today. How you doing, Sidekick?
I'm doing all right. How you doing?
I'm doing good.
This topic is a serious topic. It really is.
Yeah, it is.
And I think everybody can relate to it and can see, we'll be able to see our side of things and, understand everything we're talking about more.
Right. Yeah. I mean, no matter where you're at, you're going to notice some kind of, whether it's forests is going away, animals, we'll get to all, everything, but you're going to notice some kind of, something happening around you from the population growth. So, yeah, for sure.
Just everywhere.
Yeah, everywhere. I mean, even here in the mountains, it's growing up here. It's growing up here. So, let's start with the positive side of the conversation. Whenever people hear the words human population, it usually sounds negative. You hear things like overcrowding, pollution, climate change, and running out of resources. Those are important discussions, and we'll get to them later. But before we talk about the problems, I think it's only fair to recognize something else. The truth is, people are the reason for nearly every incredible achievement our world has ever seen. Every hospital, every bridge, every airplane, every smartphone, every life-saving medicine, every satellite orbiting Earth. All of those exist because people imagine them and work together to make them happen. So while population growth creates challenges, it also has made amazing things possible. Think about this. If there had only ever been a few thousand people on Earth, would we have reached the moon? Probably not. Would we have built massive cities? Also probably not. Would we have discovered antibiotics or created internet? Again, probably not. More people means more minds, and more minds usually means more ideas. I love thinking about this next point. Every single day, somewhere in the world, someone wakes up with an idea that has never existed before. Maybe it's a teenager writing computer code. Maybe it's a scientist developing a cancer treatment. Maybe it's a farmer finding a better way to grow crops. Maybe it's someone inventing a machine that saves thousands of lives. That's one of humanity's greatest strengths, innovation. And here's something that doesn't get talked about enough. The more people we have, the more specialists we have. Not everyone has to know everything. Some people dedicate their lives to medicine. Others become engineers. Others teach. Some become firefighters. Others study oceans. Others study space. Imagine if every person had to do every job. Nothing would ever get done very well. Instead, billions of people each contribute a small piece of society, and together those pieces build civilizations. Let's talk about medicine for a minute. 100 years ago, many illnesses that are treatable today were often fatal. Simple infections, diseases we now vaccinate against, complications during childbirth, life expectancy was much shorter in many parts of the world. Today, millions of doctors, nurses, researchers, and scientists work together across the globe. One discovery in one country can save lives in another within days. That's incredible. And to think about technology, take your phone. That little device probably has more computing power than than the computers that help send astronauts to the moon. That's mind-blowing. Now think about how many people had a hand in creating it. Engineers, designers, programmers, factory workers, miners, researchers, shipping companies, software developers, millions of people contributed in some way. Here's another positive. Food production. People often assume population growth automatically means starvation. But something amazing happened over the last century. Farmers learned how to grow much more food on the same amount of land through improved equipment, irrigation, crop breeding, and better farming techniques. That doesn't mean hunger has disappeared. It hasn't. Hunger today is often tied to poverty, conflict, waste, and distribution, not simply because the world can't grow enough food overall. Human creativity has dramatically increased agricultural productivity. Let's move to another area. Communication. Years ago, if you wanted to talk to someone across the country, you mailed a letter. Then came telephones. Now, well, we're live streaming.
Right.
And video chat. We can message someone halfway around the world instantly. Billions of people can learn from each other every single day. Knowledge spreads faster than ever. And what about entertainment? Seriously, there's movies, sports, books, music, gaming, streaming, theme parks, podcasts. Those things exist because people create them. Every game you ever played, every movie you ever watched, every song you ever loved, someone imagined it first. One thing I really admire about humanity is our willingness to help complete strangers. When a hurricane strikes, when an earthquake happens, when floods destroy communities, people donate, volunteers show up, rescue teams travel across the country or across the world. Doctors fly into disaster zones, neighbors help neighbors. The generosity is one of the best parts of being human. Now let's talk about space. Thousands of years ago, people looked up at the stars and wondered what was out there. Today, we've walked on the moon, we've landed robots on Mars, we've explored planets millions of miles away. We've sent telescopes deep into space to capture images from billions of light years away. That's possible because generations of people built on the discoveries of those who came before them. I also think about one of humanity's greatest strengths and adaptability. We've learned to live in deserts, frozen tundras, mountains, rainforests, tiny islands, massive cities. Humans are incredibly good at solving problems and adapting to new environments. Another positive is education. Today, someone with an internet connection can learn subjects that once required access to expensive universities. People can study history, science, languages, businesses, or engineering from almost anywhere. Knowledge has almost never been more accessible. My cough's getting bad. And here's one I don't think gets enough credit. Conservation. Yes, humans have damaged parts of the environment. And we'll get to that later. But humans are also the ones creating national parks, restoring wetlands, protecting endangered species, cleaning rivers, planting forests, and developing cleaner technologies. We create problems, but we also create solutions. So when someone says people are the problem, I think the conversation is more complicated than that. People are also the solution. Every doctor, every firefighter, every teacher, every engineer, every volunteer, every parent raising kind children, every scientist searching for a cure, every conservativist. That was easier in my head, okay?
I know.
I forgot about that word. Restoring wildlife habitat.
Yeah.
Yes, that word, yes. Every big C word, restoring wildlife habitats. Every person trying to leave the world a little better than they found it. That's humanity too. So before we move into the challenges of population growth, I want to leave you with a question. If there were half as many people on Earth, would we have half as many problems, or would we also have half as many solutions? Think about that. Because every new person isn't just another mouth to feed. They're also another mind that might invent something, discover something, create something beautiful, or change the world. That's the incredible potential of humanity. And that's why the story of human population isn't just about numbers, it's about people. Up next, Sidekick will shift gears and talk about the other side of the conversation, the challenges that come with a growing population. And trust me, that's where things get really interesting.
Well, thank you very much. And yes, the development does bring a lot of good. As you were talking, it brings the jobs and the intelligence of learning more and solving more problems, but it also has its flaws. Let's start with the forest, the wetlands, the farmlands that are replaced with roads, parking lots, shopping centers, and neighborhoods. While development creates homes and jobs, it also destroys habitats, and countless animals depend on that habitat. That's one reason why people are seeing more bears, coyotes, bobcats, and even alligators in their neighborhood. The wildlife are wandering everywhere because their homes have basically been chopped down. Next comes the heat effect. More buildings, more concrete, more asphalt. The asphalt holds heat. Every roof holds heat. Concrete holds heat. This causes temperatures to go up several degrees, even at nighttime. When things are starting to cool down, you would think because there's no sun, they're letting off heat. So therefore your nights aren't cooling down like they normally would because there's so much heat absorbed in all the asphalt, which is basically where the heat comes from, and that's the climate control, which is later on in here. Mass growth also places a tremendous pressure on your water sources. More growth, you got to have more water. They require more irrigation, more industrial industrial use. Rivers and aquifers can become overused, and during drought, shortages become more and more likely. Which, here in Florida, if we don't have a good rainy season and it fills up our reservoirs, then wintertime we are on major, major water restrictions because we can't accommodate the usage because so many people are here for the season. Then there's a population traffic. See, there goes my season. See, it takes, instead of 10 minutes to get somewhere, it takes me 30 minutes to get somewhere. So you're sitting in traffic. There's where the emissions comes in. It's poor air quality because those emissions are steadily going out into the air and polluting the air. So that's another downfall. Another challenge is waste management. Where's all this garbage going? Can only build the garbage pile so high. And then you got to go somewhere else and build another one. And who wants to live by the dump? Right? So you can't.
I will say though, on the subject of that, we create problems, but we create solutions too. A lot of landfills, once they are full, they turn them into parks. They cover them up, and they're big, huge parks with trees and grass and stuff. So, that's where the solution comes with the problem. So, I've actually been a few of them, and you would never know they were dumps before because they're pretty,
Right.
they're really pretty. Say trees, walking tracks. It's a nature parks is what they turn them into.
See, I can't picture that because I guess it's because it was after a major storm. That one was so high. But the one that I would drive by, it was massively tall. It had to have been 50, 60 foot tall.
Right. But
now, how do you build a park on that?
Well, you think about it, like I don't know exactly how they built it. Obviously, that's not my field.
Right.
But my guess is they probably dump rocks on it to help weigh it down. And that's when they start putting dirt and stuff over it. Because like the ones I've been to, they are very hilly. You can tell where the higher mounds were.
Mm-hmm.
But if they didn't have the sign there that said this used to be a landfill, you would never have known.
Wow.
They turned it back to nature. So under that ground is trash, and as long as, eventually, I guess stuff will decompose, and I know it's probably not good for our ground and stuff. But I mean, everything's growing on it. I've seen some pictures of one I've been to.
Some stuff could be good for the soil, but there's a
Yeah,
lot of stuff out there that's not, that,
of course. Yeah.
And that's why, they go so far away from people with the landfills.
100 years from now, if we dig in some of these parks that used to be landfills, you're probably still gonna find that TV under there. Still gonna find that refrigerator under there, you know. So not everything is
We're
gonna
going to renovate the park, and look, we found a refrigerator.
Right. Oh. Someone must have lived underground here.
I know. Imagine the stories that would come up in everybody's head on what it actually entailed, how that refrigerator got there.
Everyone's gonna be thinking that the Hobbit movie is a real story, based on a real story.
Right? Exactly.
I've been where the hobbits live.
The hobbits are here. The hobbits are here. Woo!
Here's a microwave. Oh, there's a mattress over here. This was the bedroom.
Right, because I mean, if you're going to find that, you're probably going to find a whole bedroom full of furniture and.
Right. Everything else is going to decompose, so it's going to look like it was different rooms. Once the paper decomposes, everything that can decompose. Right,
because the wood and stuff like that stuff is not going to decompose because I mean. It will, but not. It's not going to
take a while. A while. Very well.
It's still like if it was a solid wooden frame. However it went in there and got crushed up in there, that's how it's in the ground for at least 100 years. I mean, it's going to be dry rotted, but that's about it.
I'm going to have some worms living in it.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm. Probably some ants or termites.
Right.
Termites would be like, "Oh, yummy, fresh meat, yum yum yum."
Yeah, I thought I would bring that up. That is one way of a solution to our problem that we are doing, but that still doesn't fix everything because now I don't know how big the land is. Let's just say it's 30 acres. Okay, that's 30 acres that is not be able to live on by humans. As a park, it's wildlife, stuff like that. So it's good for wildlife and stuff, and it's good for exercise and nature and, playing Pokemon Go or whatever, it's great for all that. But now that is land that's never going to be able to be lived on because it's trash under it.
Right.
So it's still kind of a problem.
Twice the next time I'm walking through a park, I'm going to go, what's this once?
All the ones I've been to, they have signs up and it says this used to be a landfill, and it shows you like pictures of the land. All the ones I've been to shows pictures of the landfills from when it was a landfill and stuff.
Okay.
And I mean, if you didn't have the sign, you probably wouldn't know unless there's hills, especially in your state where there's not normally hills. Right. So if you see a bunch of hills in a park.
Well, that's like when you go to buy a house. At least in my experience, when I was searching, there was a couple of them. It's like, what's the big mound in the back? Oh, that's the septic tank. I'm like,
right.
Wow. Yeah. That's a big old mound for a septic tank.
They buried it a little deeper.
It was higher than the house, the level of the house. I'm like, no, don't think so.
It don't even sound like they buried it. It sounds like they just put it on the ground and then buried it.
Right. I think that's exactly what happened. They set it down on the ground and then
So basically, it was an above ground pool, and they just filled the ground around it to make it in ground.
Pretty much. Exactly. But back to the story, it also affects infrastructure. Schools become overcrowded. Hospitals have longer waits. We've all seen this too. But, you're sitting there for 3 hours, waiting for your arm to be stitched up or it's by emergency cases only, the worst goes first. Road expansions. I mean, they're constantly expanding. It's like no sooner than they widen it to 2 lanes each way, then they're going back and they're doing 3 lanes each way because we need more. Or they're tearing up this one and making a new 6 lane down the road. We've had that happen. They tear down buildings, buy up buildings and tear them down just to make a road. And then you got public services because they have to keep pace. So your public transportation, they need more bus drivers. You got more people, you need more buses on the roads because people got to get from point A to point B. But then that's also throwing out more emissions that we were talking about, more pollution. I think that's why a lot of more of them are going to the electrical. I think the electrical is that's a good side when it comes to the emissions and the pollution. But I don't know the downside with that yet. There's got to be.
I know the downsides I've seen with electrical is all the mining and stuff you got to do for the batteries. I don't remember what kind of batteries are in electrical cars, but it's something to do with mining, and it's a very scarce resource. So I know there's that downside. That's all I know to make those cars, at least.
Right. It can also economically, rapid growth can create housing shortages as the demand rises, home prices and rent increases. We already see that. I mean, we see that on a regular basis without overpopulating. So the more we populate, the higher everything's going to get because people are going to have to pay to live. Somebody's making the money.
Right.
Longtime residents may even be priced out of their communities where they lived at for years. I haven't seen that happen yet or know of anybody, but yeah, I mean, it does happen, They sell to new owners and new owners change their criteria and how things go. And somebody on a fixed income that's living there on Social Security can't afford their new look, And then finally, we go back to the environment impacts. We got increased energy consumption. We got higher greenhouse gases emissions, which reduce biodiversity and greater strain of natural resources all contribute to long-term challenges. Scientists emphasize that these impacts depend not only on population growth, but also on how communities are planned and how efficiently resources are used. Mass growth isn't inherently bad. It has brought innovation, economic opportunity, and improved quality of life for millions. But without thoughtful planning, sustainable development, and conservation, the cost can become just as significant as the benefits. The challenge isn't simply that we're growing, it's whether or not we can grow responsibly. That's the big question. Mm-hmm. And the more we learn and the more we can grow responsibly, then everything's going to be better. For everybody all around. But global warming is definitely a trend, I think, and it stems from not really being overpopulated. People living longer. We're growing. I mean, you go back in time, you started out with like 2,000 people, and now we got like billions and trillions, and it gets bigger every year because people, having children and So growth has helped build modern society, create opportunities, advance technology, and connect people in ways that were once unimaginable. But every new road, new neighborhood, and city expansion comes with the trade-offs that affect the environment. I can't even talk tonight. Environment. Yeah. Wildlife, resources, and even our daily lives. I mean, this wildlife thing is nothing to play with because, you know, that's why we're seeing, I mean, you live in the mountains, so you're going to see bears in the mountains. It's just probably common knowledge.
Yeah.
But Florida, you would not expect to have a black bear in your backyard.
Right.
You know, alligators, yeah. I mean, if you live near water, expect an alligator.
Right.
You know, we have alligators and snakes and all those good critters, but
Monkeys, iguanas.
we have iguanas, we have the coyotes, the bobcats. I mean, I've actually seen coyotes and bobcats in broad daylight.
Right.
And it's kind of spooky because you don't know how they're going to react to you.
Right.
Neither, you know, but they're in areas that has a lot of noise on a regular basis. So most of them are pretty resilient to any movements and stuff like that. You know, they're used to all that commotion because they've lived around it, I guess, since they were born.
Right.
I mean, same way with the rabbits, you know, if a rabbit grows up on a golf course and hears those mowers every morning, it's not going to run eventually. It's just going to hang out there, and then you're going to find some fool that didn't see it, and, you know.
Right, yeah.
Rabbit stew.
Basically, it's pushing animals into domestication.
It is.
In the wilderness, but they're being domesticated. They're starting to rely on humans, and they're being used to humans feeding them, whether it's a trash or a tourist on the strip.
Right,
because chicken. I mean,
you're taking away their food sources just as much. Yeah. Right. And they're not equipped for these heat temperatures that we're sustaining. You know, it really does wipe out a lot of different species of animals, but when it comes to these major heats and these major cold spells, because they're just not made to adapt to that kind of stuff, you know. We can support larger populations without exhausting the resources. Future generations will depend on that. That's for sure. These are the challenges that the communities around the world are facing right now, and the decisions made today will shape the world tomorrow. Mm-hmm. So that's basically it. I mean, mass populating is why, yeah, you have to worry about animals in your front yard and backyard. Gators knocking on your door going,
right.
Hey,
let me in, it's hot out here.
Can I come in and swim in your pool, please?
I heard you got AC in there.
And they got claws. I mean, so they hit that screen and it's like,
yeah.
It's on the news on a regular in Florida, you know. Look what we fished out of the pool. I have yet to run into one. I've seen that, and then vehicles, because people, they miss a turn or something like that, and the whole vehicle ends up. I'm like, man, I'd hate to be that pool technician.
Right. No kidding.
It's like, how you clean that up?
Right. I mean, I would guess you had to empty it out with all the oils and stuff. Empty out, and you're going to clean the.
Probably do empty it and acid wash. Yeah. I mean, but yeah.
You have all those oils in there, which ain't good for your filter, so.
No. But the question is, can we continue to build while protecting our natural habitats? And can we support a larger population without exhausting all of our resources and harming any animals, you know, in ecosystems? Because all that, we need all that. Yeah, we need the resources, but we need everything that is here on this earth. Right. It's here for a reason.
Besides mosquitoes and gnats, they're just here to annoy us.
Yeah, definitely. definitely.
They're the only ones that don't have
I
them.
don't ever, yeah, I don't understand the purpose of neither one of those.
Right.
And now they're releasing a different breed of a mosquito that's supposed to either, I think it's make the other ones go sterile to where they can't reproduce.
Huh.
We'll see, but
Right. I
if
ain't seen it
if
right.
they bite me, then I'm still going to kill them. So
Right.
if they don't bite me, then okay,
Right.
they can fly around me all they want. But if they land on me and I feel a bite, then I'm smacking it, and it's going to be dead. Just plain and simple. Because I hate a mosquito.
Yeah.
And yeah,
Mosquitoes, it's like the gnats, the mosquitoes obviously bite, and like I'm allergic to mosquitoes, so my arm swells up or whatever. But the gnats, like they just gotta be all up in your face.
oh, I
Like
know.
you got this big old Earth. I don't know exactly how big Earth is, but it's big, and you have to be right here in your in my face.
But the mosquitoes are like in my ear and stuff like
Yeah.
that. Like, it's like get out of my ear. It's like no. But yeah,
It's not like you're a big bear and I just took up your den. No, you're a tiny little bug. You can fly anywhere on this earth, and you had to
I
be one
know.
with us.
I mean, yeah, the insects. It's like really, we're not overpopulated for them. You can go find somewhere else to
Right.
live. But I really do think that they need to be more natural parks, and preserves so that we have our habitat,
Right.
and save it instead of just going in and chopping down all of theirs. They need to be like, okay, well, we're just gonna just take this small portion. There's got to be a solution to it, to where, because if the animals are intruding on us now, can you imagine what's going to happen in another 10, 15 years?
I'm gonna have a pet bear.
Yeah.
They're gonna have to come live with us.
I'll
This is
have a
my
pet
new pet bear.
alligator.
He's holding his picnic basket. What it comes down to be, I mean, we are destroying woodland, whatever, wetlands, everything we have here. For our population growing, we have to have more homes. That's
Well, yeah, I
the
mean,
only way we could stop that is if we pull like what China built up. China ran out of room, so they built up. Like they have buildings that'd be like 15 floors of homes and shopping areas, whatever. Everything, you don't even need to leave the building. And then above that floor is a whole nature thing. There's trees and grass and stuff. And then there's 15 more floors, So they even built nature
yeah,
in the
but
building.
okay, an infrastructure like that takes maintenance too, and
Yeah.
I don't know if we have the capabilities of something like that. Not to mention, it's like I don't know if I want to be on the top floor.
Well, I mean, pretty much we already have skyscrapers and stuff. I mean, so it's not going to change much about that. You're just going to be adding, I mean, a lot of skyscrapers already, even condos. I mean, I don't know how it is there, but I know like Mississippi, a lot of condos. The first two floors are shopping areas. Those are called washout floors for the hurricanes. That way, if it destroys those first two floors, it's not homes. It's just shops or parking garages, whatever,
Right.
Homes. So the only thing that China adds is a whole park, with grass and trees and everything. So that's the only difference is they're adding that. Um, so I mean, and yeah, it'll take maintenance for all that stuff, but now you just created jobs. You created more jobs because you got more people that can get maintenance jobs, whether it's watering the grass in this skyscraper or trimming the trees or whatever I don't know. I don't live in China, so I don't know what they do. But I'm sure
Right.
China takes really good care of it.
Well, I know over on the other coast, I mean, a lot of their businesses and stuff like that, they have like garage parking. So you go into the garage parking, then you go into the shopping.
Right.
So the parking lot is underneath,
Right.
wherever you're going.
Right.
But that's on the other coast. Over here, no, we're still ground level for pretty much everything. It's like you
Okay.
walk through the doors and there you are.
Yeah.
Every once in a while, you'll get one of these fancy places like I think Margarita. I haven't even been to Margaritaville. I think Margaritaville, I think, is a little elevated, something like that. But
right.
yeah, it's like they're working on it right now. They've got this big plan to redesign downtown and do a whole new infrastructure, and I don't know how it's going to work because there's a lot of history there, and it's like, how are you going to do it and keep the history? Because we have the Edison home here.
Right.
Yeah, you can't touch that property.
Right. Yeah.
No ands, ifs, or buts about it. But no, you're going to put all these high rises up around this old houses in this little area. So I just don't know how it's going to work. But there again, and it makes sense, the more concrete, that's why it's hotter. All the concrete and all the rooftops, and I mean, the buildings are getting higher. They are, but
yeah. I mean, because like I said, we're basically at that point where we're already going up instead of out. I mean, eventually we're going to run out of land besides what's nationally protected. Those you can't touch those. So eventually we're going to run out of land. So we're already going up, especially in the bigger cities. The cities are running out of room, so they're going up. I mean, in Cincinnati, you go underground for the parking garages. You park underground, and then the building's above you. So I mean, they even in Cincinnati going underground and above ground. So that's what it's going to end up happening.
I wish I could win the lottery so I could just travel and see all these different cities and states. It would be nice to see all these the way they build things and infrastructure, because I really like, different infrastructures and buildings. That is something like that.
And I mean, that's one thing I can say. I mean, I've lived in a bunch of major cities. I lived in the South. I lived in the East. I lived in the West. I lived in the North, and that's one thing I can say is every state and or city, it's just amazing how different everything is, because, the buildings are built for, one, the population of the area. So like Cincinnati is very high populated. So obviously they got to go underground and above ground. But down in the South, Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, Florida, you can't put a parking garage underground because it's going to flood the first rainstorm you get. Exactly. So you can't do that there. So everything's above ground there. But then out in the Northwest, it gets freezing colder in the winter. So everything's built thick for the winter time where you don't have to use a heater because it stays so warm. I mean, it's cool how things are built for the area and everything.
I'll see. I mean, there's history in everything and everywhere that you go, no matter what.
No matter where you go, there's history. Yes.
There's always going to be history. There's even history in what we discussed today, because the history came in, knowing the population from way back to where it is now. There's your history. So
yeah.
Thanks, everyone, for joining us for this discussion. We'd love to hear your thoughts. Have you noticed changes in your own community from rapid growth, more traffic, more development, more encounters with wildlife? Let us know. Until next time, I'm Sidekick.
I'm Lorefield. And we will see y'all next week. Bye.